Go on.
Have we met?
Just so everyone who's new here, Forrest is actually my son. And I do claim him most of the time. And we are from Indiana. Midwesterner. We really don't know a stranger. And it's a red state, and so is Florida and Kentucky, all of which I've lived in. So when I came to Flagstaff a couple years ago, I was pleasantly surprised at how liberal Flagstaff is. A lot of support for the library. But one of my favorite groups is Mercy Me. And for those of you who don't know who Mercy Me is, they're a Christian rock group. So the first time I saw them was at Epcot in Disney, because they have a music series where they get just a small time, kind of like a mini concert. And that's a way for you to see if you want to go spend money on them. So I'm sitting there, as soon as they start singing, all of a sudden everybody around me is, whoa! And I'm sitting there going, please God, don't let me burst into flames. So I do really like them though, so I went to Glendale for a full concert, and it was kind of last minute, so I was lucky enough to get a second row seat, but all the way on the right, which was nice, so then I didn't have to look at all the wackadoodles around me. They was all behind me. And the lady sitting next to me during intermission starts talking to me. And of course, Midwest, I don't know a stranger. She's like, oh, I've followed him around. I'm from Kingman. Where did you drive from? And I said, well, I'm from Flagstaff. She looked at me and says, Flagstaff is very, very liberal. So I can be a smartass sometimes. I looked at her with a straight face and said, oh, well, that's good, because I'm very, very liberal. She kind of looked taken aback and she says, why are you at a Christian rock concert? And I was like, well, why wouldn't I be? Needless to say, she didn't talk to me the rest of the time. So I've learned that a lot of Arizonians are not appreciative of our liberal Flagstaff. Another thing I've learned since I came here is that you all's idea of spicy is not the same as mine. We are not the same. I learned this the hard way. I went to Glorious Bakery because I really like their bread and their muffins and stuff. But they always have a lunch special, and it smelled really good, looked really good. So of course I asked the lady, is it spicy? And she looks at the guy who's sitting at the table eating, and he goes, it's not that bad. So I took it home, took one little spoonful, and my mouth burst into flames. It was so fucking spicy, I couldn't eat it. And so I have learned now, when I ask people if it's spicy, to let them know that I'm a white girl from the Midwest, where everything is covered in gravy or dipped in ketchup. And Forrest joined me here in January. I flew to Florida and rescued him from yet another crazy girl. And of course we drove across country, and we had stopped and picked up my daughter's cat. Nathan had his dog. So we were staying in Santa Rosa, and we go to dinner, and we put the dog in the bathroom, had the cat out, and we come back and I couldn't find the key, the little card. So I panicked. So we go to the office, and she's like, oh, it's okay, we'll give you a new key. So we go in the room, and Luna is gone. So Nathan and I turned the beds over. He went outside and looked for like an hour. So I was determined that someone had found that hotel key and stole my cat. So I called the cops and make a police report, because you stole my cat, man. So, and I had Nathan convinced as well, which is Forrest. And he's like, well, it's lucky Smoke was in the bathroom, because they would have stolen my dog too. And so the next morning I said, Nathan, let's turn the bed over one more time. There was Luna. So Nathan and I was like, hey, don't tell nobody, let's just get out of here. So we hurry out to the van with the cat, and so we will never be able to stay in Santa Rosa, New Mexico again. We also drove through the worst snowstorm that the Midwest has seen in 20 years. It took 13 hours to get from Evansville to Joplin, Missouri, which is usually a 7-hour drive. So as we're driving through this blinding snowstorm, I tell Nathan, I was like, now you guys, you know, you're all on my life insurance. And if something happens to me, I want to be cremated and have my ashes, taken to Disney and put my ashes in Disney. And he looks at me and he says, Mom, I am in the car. That's it for me. Thank you. I'm Damaris.
Ladies and gentlemen, keep it going for Damaris.